What's up, guys? This is from one man to another. So, today I wanted to talk about biblical values versus worldly values. What's the difference and what are they? So, biblical values is doing the will of our Father, living biblically aligned, and doing what He wants for you. Worldly values is doing what you want and doing what the world deems as acceptable and, in order to survive in this world. So, let's start off by doing what's right. Number one. Do you do what's right all the time and because it's the right thing to do? Or do you do what's right when it's convenient to you, depending with who or if the situation deems fit? So if you chose the first one, congratulations, you're off to a great start. You're living biblically aligned. But if you choose the second one, you're living more aligned to this world because you're choosing with who and you decide who you should be good with and who you shouldn't be. And that's not what you should do. So this leads into our second one, putting others first. Do you put others first or do you put yourself first? So if you put others first, congratulations. Again, you're off to a great start. You're living aligned to biblical values. But if you put yourself first because, hey, I gotta survive in this world, I need to feed my family, I gotta look out for mine first. If you have that mentality, congratulations, you're no different than anybody in this world because a lot of these people in this world, that's their whole mindset. Me and mines. And everybody else, well, I don't know how they're gonna do it. And that's not a right mentality to have because that's living aligned to this world. All right. And on the topic of that, we're off to number three. How important is money to you? Is money just a tool, something to feed your family and, get a couple of nice things, but God's first? Or is it, you know what, I wake up and I'm on the pursuit of money. Money is my God. I gotta have money. I'm striving for money. My mind is consumed with money. Oh, and I'll find God sometime in my life. I'll give him time sometime this week. If you're thinking like that, you're aligned to worldly values. So you got to remember, money is just a tool. It's not your God and it will not save you. God does not care about your money. He doesn't need your money. It's just a man-made thing. All right. So, going on that, do you put God first or do you put yourself first? So, living biblically aligned, we need to put God first at all times because He is a creator, He is the beginning and end, He is the Alpha and the Omega. And without Him, there's nothing. So, are you putting Him first or are you putting yourself first? Because you need to survive in this world. You need to look out for your own. But you love God, but you gotta survive in this world. You gotta do what you need to do. And God will have some time in your life, but it's not that you don't love Him, it's just that other things are more important first. We need to shake off that because God needs to be first at all times. So again, now here's for the people that have children. Do you teach your kids to obtain the word or to attain the world? If you teach them to obtain the word and you're reading with them, you're going through the scriptures and you're making sure that this is the most important thing in their life, congratulations, you're doing an amazing job as a parent because you're instilling them the right values, not the worldly values, but the values that our Father in heaven loves and He desires from us. But if you teach them to obtain this world, to get that degree and, push after the money, hey, if you need to trample on some people along the way, or if you need to use some people to get where you need to be, it's okay because, God wants you to be successful. He wants you to be rich. And, if you need to do this to get ahead, it's okay. God will understand. That is a horrible mentality, and you're going to lead your kids straight into the pit of hell because our Father in heaven, He does not want you to teach your kids to go after this world, whoring after this world. He wants them to be diligent, to be obedient sheeps to the shepherd. He wants you to instill them in the things that actually matter because everything in this world, just like you and I, will pass away, and the only thing that we will have is our soul. So remember what's most important. All right. Also, what matters more to you, riches or righteousness? So, righteousness should matter most because, like I said, all we have is our soul. At the end of the day, God doesn't care how much money you made, how much properties you had, all the things that you did, all the money in your bank account. He does not care. All that, it's not important to Him. but how many people you helped out, how close you brought your family to the Father, how close you brought strangers to the Father, and how much of your life you lived to be a saint here on earth. He loves that, and all that is priceless to him, and you will be considered most in heaven. But those who want all the riches in this world and put God as an afterthought last in their lives, they're going to be least in the kingdom of heaven. So remember that. Alrighty, so we're off to the last one. Are you willing to forsake this world, its entertainment, and its values? Or do you think that you can have both? So, you can't serve God and mammon. You can't serve the world and God. Because if you do, you're going to be a hypocrite. Because the values of our Father in heaven are not aligned with this world. Not in one bit. Because although we're, in this world, we're not supposed to be of this world. Because if we want to have both, have our cakes and eat it too, all we are going to be is lukewarm. And remember what he said. He said, I'd rather you be hot for me or cold, because if you're lukewarm, he's going to vomit you out of his mouth. So you got to remember, you got to be hot for God. We can't be, on the fence, because eventually the fork in the road is going to either send us with him or send us with the world. And you know who the God of heaven is? Our creator. And the God of this world is Satan. And you got to choose our Father in heaven, because this world, nothing of it is going to fill you as much as our Father does. So you got to remember, are you willing to stand out, be different, be the salt and light of this world, and be hated for it? Or are you going to be lukewarm and be of this world because it's more comfortable, because you can maintain the relationships you have with your family and friends that don't want to get close to our Father, and because you can still do the things that you want? What are you going to pick? Right now, we have the grace that we have time to choose. We have the grace that we haven't died, that we have the time to correct our lives. So, are you going to let more time pass by and fix your relationship with the Most High later, before, when it's too late? Or are you going to do it before it's too late and get yourself right now, so when the time comes, you will be ready and you won't be rejected, because you did His will here on earth and you chose to forsake this world and everything in it, because what matters most is our Father in heaven. So, are you living aligned to biblical values, or are you living aligned to worldly values? You decide. Time is running out, so make sure you make the right choice. Peace out, guys. I love you all. Thank you for staying for this video. Till the next one.